Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here. Hopefully you're having a very Merry Christmas and enjoying the day spending with friends or family or whatever holiday traditions you might have. Today we're going to be talking about 10 things you need to know before you buy, or in this case, before you get the Vapid Clique for free on Christmas in GTA Online. So that's the first thing we need to talk about today. Rockstar added a brand new vehicle, and just like what they did with the Hermes last year, if you log on today on Christmas, you'll actually get a voucher to get this vehicle for free. Now, as a reminder, you don't have to buy the vehicle today. You just need to log on to get the voucher today, and that will allow you to buy it free once, anytime. It could be next year, it could be in 2022 for all they care. It does not matter. Now, if you are unable to log on or you want to buy a second one sometime down the line, it's going to be available on the Legendary Motorsports site for $909,000. So pretty expensive as far as muscle cars go. It's a two-seater, pretty straightforward as most muscle cars are in the game. Let's start out by taking a look at the interior. It's much different than your normal muscle car. It sort of has this minimalistic racer look, and it's kind of unique. I'm not sure what this car is supposed to be based off of, but it definitely has like that stripped down, bad to the bone muscle car feel. That's sort of what I was getting out of it. Lots of gauges and, crazy seats and stuff like that. It really does look cool. Anyways, let's bring this into the Los Santos custom shop. And the first thing you're going to notice is it has 20 options of customization. That's a lot. The first thing you can do is modify some of the body work, and you can actually completely strip this car of all the trim. You can remove the side trim, headlight trim, and all the trim if you want. So you can even strip this down even more, which is kind of a cool minimalistic look. For the front and rear bumpers, you have the same options. You have classic, retro, racing, and then bespoke click bumpers. So some really good options right there. All of them, in my opinion, look really good, so it doesn't really matter to me what you end up going with. From there, you can modify the chassis. Now, this does a couple of interesting things. Number one, it adds a roll cage to the inside, which is kind of cool. And it also changes the seats. It makes them a little bit sportier, more like racer seats, which is kind of a cool look. So I'm not like a massive fan of the roll cage, big seat look, so I ended up not putting it on, but that's what the sports chassis does versus the stock. There's also lots of grill options as well. You can remove the indicators. You can have an open grill, 3 bars, classic, bullet, double barrel, and then a very interesting one is custom death grill. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like a pop culture reference or just something Rockstar did, but either way, kind of cool. After that, you have hood options. You can remove the hood entirely, which reveals a very beefy engine block. And then you have bespoke hood straps, which are there purely for decoration. After that, we have liveries, and there's a lot of good ones on here. The first one is Classic Stripe, which is just going to put these dark gray 2 solid stripes vertically down the car. Looks really good, is very simple, works with a ton of great colors. The one after that is Vapid Stripes, which is a off-centered black stripe on the driver's side that goes all on the top of the car. And then at the bottom of the door sill, a black stripe that has Vapid sort of on the inside too. Very simple, very clean. I really like this one. That is Vapid Strikes. The next one is Jakey's Lager, and I really like this one. I like the colors of sort of like that pale yellow and blue and a little bit of red. It's very simple with the striping and the logo, and it sort of has some more design on the base of the door sill. Jakey's the benchmark for lager, and some more things written on the other side. So I do like this one. Love those color designs. The blue and yellow work really well together. The next one is Hipster 17, and I'm not sure what pop culture design this is referencing. It kind of reminds me of the new Nike stuff that will literally say what the items are, like sleeve and vest and stuff like that. So I wonder if it's making fun of that. It literally says derriere on the back with a picture of a butt. So I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Maybe you guys can let me know. Following that, it's Scooter Bros Racers. I really like this one. It's sort of a clean, simple design with a little bit of sponsorship mixed in there too. I like the white circle with Scooter Brothers and Tension, and you've got a couple of other sponsors on there as well. Following that, it's Premier Racer. I really like this one. On the side of the door, you have like Premier written out in stencil, and that's kind of cool. You also get like this nice sort of sky racing blue color that I really like, as well as a couple of other sponsorships thrown in on there as well. So that is Premier Racer. Following that, it's Classic Racer, and I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this one. It sort of seems like Rockstar just took the Classic Stripes and then just threw a bunch of random sponsorships on there. So I can't say I'm the biggest fan of that, but that's Classic Racer. Following that, we have Rim Paint Racer, which I think is a little bit confusing too. You've got this sort of like Christmas theme of green and red, and then you've just got like random sponsorships thrown all over the place, and it doesn't really look all that great in my personal opinion. The one after that, though, looks amazing. Aero Racer. You've got this beautiful combination of this sort of light blue, pale yellow. You've got Aero written on top of the car with a few sponsorships on the side, but I love the design of the livery, and I love those color schemes too. That one looks terrific. After that, you have Los Santos Racer, another really good one that utilizes sort of this red fill. And then you've got Los Santos written in cursive on the door sill. I don't love the sponsorships, but the livery itself is really clean, and I do like that. And last but not least, this car, because it is coming out on Christmas, has a very special Christmas livery called Merry Clickmas, which has snowflakes all over the car and a bow on top as well. We'll actually talk about that in a little bit later after we bring this outside of the LSC. So those are the liveries right there. Lots of pretty good designs. After that, you can change the mirrors. There's stock, racing, and retro. I think all three look awesome, so it just sort of depends on the design you want to go for. After that, we have our color groups. There's primary and trim. Primary affects the entirety of the outside of the car. So everything on the outside will be affected by the primary, and everything on the inside is affected by the trim color. So pretty simple stuff right there. After that, it is spoiler. There's only one spoiler option, and it's not a traditional spoiler. It's bespoke trunk straps. And even though that is not a traditional spoiler, that will still give you a traction bonus because it's technically in the spoiler department. So if you want to have this car perform extra good or better, you're going to want to put these funky little trunk straps on there that will somehow give you more traction. A little bit strange, but that's how it goes. After that, you've got the wheels. Now, these wheels are unique for a couple of reasons. Number one, the rims are completely customized for the Clique. There are similar designs, which we'll take a look at in a second, but it's totally custom. And the stock rims have customization on them. They have like the atomic font and also that red font on there too that typically you see on custom tires, but these are the stock ones. Now, if you want to match them as closely as possible, I either recommend the wired lowrider rims or something like Big Worm. That's going to give you the closest look, but it's still not identical to the stock rims. And speaking of those stock rims, after we bring them outside of the Los Santos custom shop, because they are chrome, unfortunately, we cannot change the color of them, which is kind of a bummer because I'm not necessarily a fan of like the atomic writing, and I wish we could maybe change the color to either alloy or black or whatever color we wanted. I felt like that would have been cool. Unfortunately, that's not the case. As far as opening up all the doors, you can open every single one: driver, passenger, hood, and trunk. And the lights on this car are pretty standard too. Because it's an older vehicle, you don't have a lot of modernness with those headlights. It's just pretty standard right there. Now, because this is a muscle car, it does come standard with the new muscle car features, and that is the ability to perform wheelies from a standstill. So this vehicle can do the same thing too. And obviously, one of the big parts about this vehicle is that super unique Christmas livery, and it has the bow on top. And you might be curious, does the bow like have an impact on the car? Like if it gets flipped upside down, will it start rocking back and forth on the uneven bow? Does it add any height to the car? The answer is no. The bow is cosmetic only. Things will clip through it, and also bullets will clip through it as well. So for example, if you shoot that bow, it's not going to do damage to the car. It's just going to go right through it. So you sort of have to pretend it's not there if you're looking at the car, aiming at it, or just worried about it doing weird things because the bow is there. Just pretend like it's not there. It's a livery. It doesn't have an impact on the vehicle other than just cosmetics. Now, there's one sort of interesting thing with this vehicle that I didn't notice at first, but that is it doesn't have any exhaust options. And I noticed that the exhaust port is on like the sides of the car, sort of adding to that sort of racer vibe. And that was kind of unique. I didn't know it didn't have an exhaust option. I felt like something was missing on this car, and it looks like that's it. It doesn't have an exhaust option, so you're kind of stuck with what you get right there. And as far as the performance of this vehicle goes, it's pretty good. I've noticed that the car is definitely pretty slippery, and it's kind of hard to tell right now because when you drive it in the snow, everything seems very slippery, but this one in particular sort of has that slippery vibe. To me, it feels very similar to the Imperator that was added with this update too. So if you're a fan of slippery, slidey muscle cars that have lots of beef, torque, and power, this one is going to be right up there with you. Obviously, most of you guys are going to be getting it for free, so you really don't have to worry about price. And I'd say overall for a muscle car, this has pretty awesome customization, and it is very unique because it is the only car in the game that has like a super specific Christmas livery with like the bow on top and the snowflakes. Like, that is cool. Like, yes, Rockstar have added some like Christmas liveries to, you know, certain vehicles like the Conjali, but this is the first car that is like comes stock with one, and that is kind of cool. So anyways, that right there is 10 things you need to know about the Vapid Clique before you buy or before you get it in GTA Online. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this vehicle and more. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA and Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.